so much for joining me. If you haven't been here before, my name is Tracy and this is a DIY upcycling channel. And today we are going to make these pants. They are distressed, patched, bleached with some velvet heart appliques. These pants started as a men's 34-32 waist beat up old pair of Levi's from eBay. And they're a few sizes bigger in the waist so that they're nice and baggy and loose. This top has a little bit of a history, so you can kind of make it too. I sort of have a tutorial for it, and I say that all the time because I am always upcycling my upcycles to go with whatever I want to wear or what I'm working on. So this started as a purple dress that I made from just a men's white button-up, button down. It started as a plain white shirt, and I added and created. So that tutorial is down in my description. And to get to my description, you just tap or click on the title below this video, and it'll bring up my description. So since that video, I dyed it wine, dye wine. And then since then, I cropped it. I left the tie on the back because I thought that was really cute. And honestly, I'll wear this way more as a top than I probably would a dress. So if you want to make it, just don't make it as long as the dress. Pretty layery and basic. All right, let's make the pants. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut the sides open so that I can work in there easily. Plus these are a little too oversized, and when I sew them back together, they'll be just right. So I'm going to the side seam, and 1/2 inch behind it on the back of the pants, I will cut these completely open. Now that I have the sides cut open, I want to shorten these. They're very long on me, and I decided I wanted 4.2 inches cut off. So I am going to mark that down the pant leg so that I have a guideline to cut. These have some fun distressing already. These are just old and beat up. This one, I don't like seeing my legs through the holes, so I'm going to patch these from behind. And I went to my scrap of denim and I picked out some dark denim pieces, and I'm actually going to cut out some of these, well, most of those strings, because I want to see the dark denim contrast. I'm going to clean this one up too. Now I'm going to open up these pant legs and pin the patch from behind, and I already pre-cut them the size that I'll need. So I want the dark side down because that will show through on the front, and I'm just going to pin it on. Now I'm going to go to the other pant leg, this bigger hole, and pin this patch on. Now I'm going to sew these on. I'll stay close to the edge with a zigzag stitch. The zigzag will be a cute detail on the front. And I will use a goldish mustard colored thread because that's the color of the original stitching in the jeans. I want 3 velvet hearts on this leg. Over here, I want to cut out 2 more rectangles and back them with the dark denim. I'm going to take my tailor's chalk, just draw out my rectangle, and this is about 4 inches by 2.5. And then down here, here's the bottom of the leg. Right here, I'll make a little square. That's about 3 by 3, and then I'll cut them out. Here's the patch I cut for this hole. I like them to be at least 1/2 inch larger than the hole, so I have plenty of room for stitching. Now I'm going to get them sewn on exactly like I did the other 2 patches. Okay, that's about all the sewing I'm going to do to the front of the pants. Now I'm going to work on the back a little bit. I'm going to roughly cut the pocket off that's underneath of this tab here because it's always darker under there and adds an instant detail. Okay, on the back, down here towards the bottom, I cut a hole, a square hole that is 2.5 by 2.5, patched it, and I'll sew it just like I did the ones on the front. Now over here, I want to do something a little different. I'm going to draw sort of a long rectangle and distress it. This is about 9.5 by 2.5. Okay, I have an old cutting board that I keep down here in my sewing room for these reasons. I'm going to slip that underneath, and I have a box or a slice brand box cutter. Any box cutter will do, and I am just going to destroy it. Just do a bunch of distressing. 100% cotton distress is way easier than anything with spandex. These are 100% cotton, so should distress fairly easily. It's probably going to shake the camera, so forgive me for that. Now, I like to cut a bunch of these strips out of here because I will be patching it from behind, and I want to be able to see the patch, so I'll be cutting most of these little strips out of here. Cut out a dark patch that will cover that. And now I'm going to pin it on the underneath side. Now I'm going to go get these sewn on, this one and this. And while I'm at my machine, I'll sew on one more patch, and there it is. So this is a lighter colored one, and it's about 3.5 by 3.5. And once I get this sewn on, I think I'll overlap that slightly with this lighter colored patch, sew it on. Now I want to bleach these. They're still open on the sides because I haven't sewn my hearts in yet, and I want a nice light background to contrast with those red hearts. So I want to bleach them. So I have some rubber gloves, a mask, some bleach that I poured in a bowl, just regular old 100% bleach, and a light colored rag. Now I am going to saturate my rag and swipe over all of it, basically. I will only leave this on for 10 minutes once I get it all swiped on. And for me, that's important because I don't want it to eat through my clothes. I don't neutralize this. sometimes pants will bleach really fast. Sometimes they don't really bleach at all. And you never know unless you test them. And I didn't test these first, so we'll see what is going to happen. Make sure you get in that crotch area. You don't want a dark spot right there for obvious reasons. They're starting to bleach nice. It's only been about 7 minutes. I have my washer filling up, and I will stick these in my washer when the 10 minutes is up on a normal setting, warm water with laundry soap, and then put them in the dryer. Here they are out of the dryer, and there is no trick to get the distressed areas and patches to fray. The washer and dryer do that for you. I love how they're turning out. Now I want to do some paint splattering. Here's the back. Okay, I'm going to start on the back, and I'm just taking a paper plate and some acrylic antique white craft paint. Just squeeze a little bit on there. And then I have some textile medium. I'm just going to put a splash there and kind of mix it up. I have kind of a round, pointy brush. It's just what I have. It doesn't, let's see, it says number 10 round brush. All right, now I want to do kind of some extra up here where the dark pocket is and lower on the leg, maybe a dot here and there. And I'm just going to take my brush and just kind of smush and maybe dot a little bit. Now, I think the key to having paint splatters hold up in your laundry is to wait 2 weeks before you wash them. You can wear them within like 24 hours, but the paint needs to cure. All the moisture needs to be evaporated before you wash them. Now I'm going to open up these pant legs and do a little bit at the bottom because I plan on doing sort of a large cuff when I wear these. Now I'm going to let these dry to the touch. I'll probably blow dry it so that I can flip it over sooner and then do the front side. Now I'm going to heat set all these paint splatters. I have my iron on the hottest setting, the steam off, and I will hold it on each spot that's painted for 30 seconds. Now I want to make a heart pattern for 3 hearts, and we're going to do the old fold the paper in half, draw half the heart to get it symmetrical. Okay, so you'll have to use your own creativity, but I'll help guide you sort of get the look that I have. So I have a piece of paper that's 5 inches tall and 6.5 inches across, and I just folded that in half, draw half of a heart. Okay, so I have a scrap piece of velvet. I think it was from a thrifted shirt or dress, something like that. And it's big enough. It's kind of curled up. It doesn't look big enough, but it is, to do 3 hearts on. I am going to back my velvet piece with a piece of medium weight fusible interfacing. That will help reduce the fraying around the edges and make this stretchy sort of velvet a lot easier to handle. So if you're not familiar, fusible interfacing is bumpy on one side and it's smooth on the other. Now the bumpy side are glue dots. And so I'll take my iron and I will adhere this and back this velvet, and I'll show you how. I'm going to lay my interfacing with the smooth side down on my ironing board, and I'm feeling the bumpy side right here. And then I'm going to take my velvet, lay it on top, and smooth it out and uncurl those edges. I have my iron set on the hottest setting and the steam is off. I'm going to take a piece of parchment paper. You can use like a thin cloth too. I like parchment paper. A lot of people on here have suggested it, and I just love it because I can see through it. So you'll take your iron, and on each spot, you'll hold it down for 12 seconds. And when that 12 seconds is done, I'll pick it up and move it over and not iron it like this. Now I'm just cutting them out. Now I'm laying them on the jeans and where I want mine. So here's the bottom of the zipper. The top kind of lines up with that. And I want them more on sort of the inside rather than centered on the leg, because when you wear your jeans, if they're on the center of your leg, they actually will appear more to the outside. So I'm bringing them in a little bit, and then I'm going to take an old cutting mat. Cardboard works too, and I'm going to put this inside the leg so that I can pin these easily. Now that they're all pinned on, I'm going to sew them. I'll go around the edges, staying close to the edge. I'm going to use a medium-sized zigzag stitch and coordinate the thread the best I can with the color of the heart. Okay, now it's time to sew these sides back together. And I have a few tips for this. Okay, number one, use a denim needle. And when you get to these kind of thicker seams, you may have to use your hand crank, most likely. Another tip, start at the top on both sides, because if it gets uneven, and most of the time mine do, you'd rather have it be uneven at the bottom where you can just snip it rather than have it uneven at the waistband. Okay, here's another tip. So it's these seams that are the hardest to get through. The rest is easy. So what I like to do a lot of times is, so that's a seam where it's thick, right? On the back side, sometimes there's some unnecessary extra fabric right there that's thick. I like to cut that out. That's not going to hurt anything, and that gives me just one seam. Actually two, because you'll have one over here too. So whenever you can, cut any extra out. Okay, so the next tip, I don't always do, but sometimes if I feel like these are going to be thick and difficult to get through, I'll get a wooden block and some sort of fabric, and I will take a hammer and pound those seams, and that will break up those fibers, make it easier to work with, flatten it out, and then like maybe here at the waistband, do it too. Okay, and then to sew it, I like to use about a 1/4 inch seam allowance. If your pants are way oversized, maybe you can go 1/2 inch and then just trim the edge, whatever you want to do. And I won't pin this. I'll just start at the top, go forward, back, sew all the way down to the bottom. And once I get that first row done, I go back and do a second row right on top of the one I just did, double stitch it for extra durability. I am doing wrong sides together, That frayed edge will be on the outside, and I think that's a cute detail. And just remember to go nice and slow. Okay, here they are again. They would be cute, I feel, with just about anything. I could see it with a t-shirt, a black t-shirt, or any color that coordinates with red, and some sneakers or boots. I have a purse that I think I'll carry with this outfit. I have a link for this down in my description as well. All right, I'm going to slow it down, let you get a closer look, and I thank you so much for watching.